I'm about 300 hours into Arc Raiders, and I just found out I've been playing on hard mode for absolutely no reason. There are mechanics and tricks this game never explains that would have saved me dozens of failed raids. So in this video, I'm breaking down everything I wish I learned 300 hours ago. And trust me, whether you're a brand new player or deep into the Rust Belt, there's at least one thing in here for you. So let's get into it. Before we even talk about guns, upgrades, and combat, the number one thing that separates a good extraction shooter player from everyone else is pathing. Every raid starts with 3 questions you should be asking yourself instantly. Where did I spawn? Where did they spawn? And what are the paths between those points? In extraction shooters, the first 30 seconds to a minute can decide everything. You should have a clear goal for the raid, and as soon as you spawn in, should be analyzing the map spawn location versus the other enemy spawn locations, the areas of the map in which they might be going to versus where you're going to head to, and form a plan from there. One thing that takes Arc Raiders above other extraction shooters is the fact that there's delayed spawns. Some raiders won't spawn until 19 minutes, 20 minutes, 24 minutes, so you really have to be cognizant of the fact that players can spawn behind you as you are making your ways across the map. Bonus tip, if you get a bad spawn, sometimes it's best to just get out of the raid and reset, even if it's a fresh raid. Don't risk your kit by traveling to the other side of the map when you know it's a bad path. And this is where stamina and mobility management becomes your first real weapon. There is a massive difference between a player who can sprint non-stop and then those players who manage their stamina like an iPhone battery. Making sure you're holstering your weapon, avoiding unnecessary climbing and jumping, all allow you to reach power positions before anyone else even sees them on the map. And now for the secret weapon, adding in adrenaline shots. That's where things get unfair. If you're not crafting adrenaline shots in the medical lab, you're severely handicapping yourself. Not only are these super easy to craft with 3 chemicals and 3 plastic parts, but they fully restore your stamina and temporarily increase the stamina regeneration. I make it a habit to bring at least 5 of these in raid every time. From my testing, using adrenaline shots can get you to long distance areas of the maps 15 to 30 seconds sooner. That's a huge time difference getting to contested loot spots first, getting high ground angles on people before they even know you're there, and cutting off rotations in third-party fights that other players are going to assume are safe. So, master your pathing, manage your stamina, make sure you're using adrenaline shots, and suddenly you're not reacting to raids anymore, you're dictating them. In Arc Raiders, knowing some minor movement techs can put you way ahead of some other raiders, as this guy's about to find out. If 2 players are on the ladder at the same time, it will knock both of them off. Vertical ziplines can really hang some players up. If you walk up to a zipline and press E, notice this really slow animation. A lot of players will be running from either Arc or other raiders and will just slowly grab the zipline and go up. That's an easy way to get friggin' beamed. The best way to approach a zipline is to sprint, jump, look up, and that'll get you out of that wonky, slow animation. Another issue is players wanting to go up on a zipline and they jump at it and end up going down. The reasoning for this is the direction you're looking. If you jump at a zipline and look up, it will bring you up. If you jump at a zipline and look down, it brings you down. So make sure you're looking in the direction you want to go on the zipline. Because if you're not going to go in the right direction and it could cost you your raid. There's also a momentum boost at the top of zips, so you can use it to do some unorthodox parkour if you're trying to grab angles that people aren't expecting. Another good piece of tech for vertical ziplines is there is no inertia damage at the bottom. So you basically can just jump to the bottom, and as long as you can grab it, you won't take any fall damage. So as you saw in the previous clip, what I like to do is use the mantle to get to places that they wouldn't expect and to use the actual zipline text against them. Because if 2 players are on a zipline, it will knock both of them off. But if you can grab the zipline at the end of the fall to get rid of the fall damage, which this guy didn't know about, obviously, and he ended up dying. Slightly angled ziplines have a little bit of tech built into them, but not as much as the vertical ziplines. Just the fact that you can actually run, jump on them. And if you notice a team at the other end, you can reverse your direction. There is an inertia penalty for that though. So you want to start it early and kind of basically just hang out on the zipline. Not any penalty. Comes in handy if there's a team on the opposite side or there's a rocketeer or something that you want to avoid. You can kind of just wait until they pass to go to the other side. Same thing, momentum boost off the top. So use that to your advantage. And getting away quickly and finding cover. All right, simple tech for descending ladders pretty quick is this. Kind of just time it, hitting A to grab it, and then there's no fall damage penalty for that. Now, if you get good at it, you can also time a slide, and then there'll be no fall damage. So as you notice, there was no fall damage there. If I were to just actually fall from that ladder, it would take a decent chunk of my health. The tech you just saw in that clip is called a slide roll, and it's really useful in a bunch of situations. So when you slide, it breaks your character's momentum. So you're not getting caught in these sluggish inertia motions. So if you're getting shot from an unexpected angle, you can quickly slide and rotate into cover, lowering your profile, breaking their tracking, and making yourself harder to kill. But the spicy part of this is the slide peek shot, and it works best with an El Toro shotgun, which basically you can slide out of cover, get your shot off, and then instantly roll back in. And you can change directions on this. So it turns what would normally be a risky wide peek into a fast, unpredictable burst peek. You know, it's a fraction of a second. By the time that enemy knows they've been shot, you're already back into cover. And sometimes getting the first shot off wins the fight. So if you can master this combo and stop trading damage, you basically start taking free shots while they're trying to figure out where you just went and whether or not they need to heal. Extremely useful movement tech. Gear in your inventory is potential. Gear in a raid, however, is powerful. Let's talk about something every extraction shooter gamer deals with. Gear fear. That feeling where you get a good weapon, a good shield, a good augment, and suddenly you're terrified to use it. It sits in your inventory, possibly till the end of wipe, never getting used. But here's the truth. Gear fear is one of the biggest things slowing down your progression in Arc Raiders and in any other extraction shooter. When you're scared to lose your gear, 3 things happen. Number 1, you stop learning. You play safe, you avoid fights, you hide from situations that would actually make you better. You're basically freezing your skill level in the game. Number 2, you waste the best items you have. That purple gun collected dust, the purple augment that you're only going to bring out for a special raid, it's sitting in your stash and doing nothing for you. And number 3, you turn every raid into a fear-based decision. You hesitate, you second guess, you don't push those angles that would have won you the fight, and you'll extract early out of sheer panic. Meanwhile, the players who are absolutely trashing you aren't actually better than you. They're just not scared to use and lose what they have. Here's the mindset shift you need. Your gear exists to help you survive and get better, not to decorate your stash. It's just your turn to use it, that's all. It's not there forever. You'll learn more running a good gun in 1 raid than you will loading a free kit for 5. You gain confidence faster when you fight with loadouts that match how you want to play, and you'll progress faster winning fights with good gear and gaining that XP and momentum as you do it. And even if you die, Arc Raiders gives you tools to bounce back instantly. 1 good free loadout raid can have you right back into the purple stuff. So once you drop the gear fear, you stop playing not to lose, and you start playing to win. Now, real quick, this is the one caveat to everything I said about gear fear. Not using your gear because you're scared to lose it is bad, but using a free loadout to learn, scout, or finish tasks with 0 risk is pretty smart. Free loadouts aren't on a timer. You can run them back to back to back infinitely without any penalty. So here's where they shine. If you're doing a task or contract in a high traffic area, you know you're about to run into a ton of death, trial and error, PvP, that's when you swap to a free loadout. You're not having gear fear, it's just leveraging the system to learn faster without blowing up your stash. So you can run in, die, respawn, run it again, try new angles, learn the spawns, learn the routes, all for free. Let's bust a myth real quick. Full shield doesn't mean you're safe. In Arc Raiders, shields aren't a second health bar. They're just armor that softens hits. For example, light shields will only block 40% of incoming damage. That means even with a full shield bar, you still take health damage on every hit. And if your HP is low, 1 or 2 shots can still down you, regardless of shield status. Never trust a full blue bar alone. Heal up first with a bandage, then swap to a shield, because by the time the shield recharges, you'll be able to use another bandage on your health again, ensuring that you're back to full health and ready for another firefight. So you're using shield for mitigation, but treat your HP like the only number that truly keeps you alive. Listen, there's videos on how to fight every single arc in the game, but there's nothing more annoying than these little balls of hell. Especially after a firefight, when you're low health, these little flames of Satan can be hard to deal with. What you do is you let them aggro you, open up, and they're a 1 tap on that white faceplate, making them really easy to deal with versus letting them finish you off when your health is low. Quick tips. Keep your safe pocket empty until you find something worth saving. A lot of people will bring valuables into the raid that they think they might use, and then they'll end up finding something really valuable in raid, and they'll have to make the decision on whether or not to swap those items and risk losing one of them. Always leave room for emergency value in a raid, unless you're bringing in an emergency hatch key. If you're low on stamina, don't engage. Find some cover and let your stamina bar recover before you engage in a fight. Nothing worse than getting caught out in the open and not being able to run to any cover. In Arc Raiders, you can reload while sliding. It becomes a useful utility to gain information while making sure your weapon is reloaded. Let's talk inventory management, and don't worry, this isn't Tarkov. Arc Raiders actually makes managing your loot stupidly easy once you understand a couple things. You got auto sort options with these clean tab layouts that range from augments, shields, weapons, all the way down to quick use and miscellaneous. But you also have quick transfer buttons that do all the heavy lifting for you. So let's say you were looking to transfer something from your backpack to your stash. The days of doing this is over. Hold down shift and click. And that'll instantly transfer it to your stash, auto sorted for you. And instead of, dragging and dropping for your loadout, you can click each item slot individually, which will bring up that allotted slot. So if you click the shields, it brings up the shields. If you click up the guns, it brings up the guns. Anything you can put in your backpack, and all of the quick use slots, which some people don't realize that some of these items are quick uses. Fabrics can be used in game to restore a small amount of healing. It's really bad, but you can use it. Food can be used for stamina. Snitch scanners can be used to throw on people. The Leaper pulse unit can be used to throw on people. But each one of these item slots you click on will bring up the corresponding items you could put in. So if we're looking for an augment, click there, shift, click, loads it in, shield, shift, click. Now we want a weapon, shift, click. We want a secondary, shift, click. Now we're going to look for some ammunition. So we come over here to the ammunition tab, shift, click, shift, click. Now we need our quick uses. Easily find them, shift, click. Let's say we don't want to bring 5 shield rechargers. We don't want to bring 5 herbal bandages. If you hold the Alt button and drag it over, it splits the stack. So if you don't want to bring all these shield rechargers into the raid, you can just hold Alt, drag it over. That'll limit the quantity. And then you can shift click the ones you don't want back into your inventory, and it'll go back in there in a nice organized manner. So that makes kitting up for a raid extremely easy. Another thing that I struggled with initially was having a weapon and an attachment in my backpack or inventory and not being able to add that attachment to the weapon itself. Now normally this silencer will go on this anvil, but we're not allowed to do this in the backpack or in the stash. The gun has to be equipped for you to be able to put the modification on it. If you were having issues with that, that's the reason why. Another thing is, if you have this with the attachment on it in the inventory, you won't be able to take it off unless you go here and click detach mods. And that will put it back into your stash. If you have the weapon in your backpack and try to attach the mod on it, it's a similar thing. We'll just swap it out. So you have to have the actual weapon in your loadout to be able to put the attachment on it. Small thing, but could confuse a lot of people. Where this comes in huge is looting. Once you get used to the quick transfer buttons, your looting gets faster. So when you're pulling up a player's inventory, you can quickly just transfer the things over into your backpack. Less time you're stationary, less time you're able to get third party, less stress. And the last tip, and probably the most important one, have fun and don't tilt. Arc Raiders is an extraction game. You're supposed to lose gear. You're supposed to get ambushed. You're supposed to have those raids where nothing goes right. The trick is not letting the game get inside your head. Tilt makes you play worse. Tilt makes you push dumb fights. Tilt makes you throw good raids because you're trying to force something instead of playing smart. If you're frustrated, take a breath, reset, do a free loadout run, or just mess around for a raid and remember why you logged in the first place. Good raids come when you're calm, not angry, and the game is way more fun when you're not fighting yourself.